Hi, everybody. My name is Amber Jones, and I am here to tell you guys about the STEEL method. And I use the STEEL method in my ninth grade English classroom to show my students how to analyze indirect characterization. There are two types of characterization: direct and indirect. Direct characterization tells the audience what the personality of the character is by using adjectives like kind, generous, or selfish. Indirect characterization shows the audience what the character's personality is instead of telling them about it. And they show using these 5 ways. So, steal is broken down by letter to mean S, what the character says, T, what the character thinks, E, what effect the character has on others, A, how the character acts, and L, what the character looks like. And so, I'm going to show you an example of how I would break this down for my students. And we are using Romeo and Juliet for that example. This is the version of Romeo and Juliet that we are currently reading. We are reading the modern side or the plain English side. And here's what my steal method would look like. So for S, on page 25, Romeo says, by keeping celibate, she wastes her beauty. This shows how little Romeo thinks of Rosaline. He only values her surface beauty. So notice I've taken a quote from the book and then I've broken it down to show what that says about Romeo as a person. And for T, on page 75, Romeo says, can I go away while my heart stays here? He is talking about Juliet, and it shows how shallow his new love for her is, saying she's his heart, but they just met. E, effect on others. On page 105, it says, Tybalt has sent a letter to Romeo's father's house. Romeo doesn't think about how his actions could affect others, and because of this, he disrespects Tybalt by going to the party. Notice I'm not just using adjectives to describe how this person's personality is. I'm explaining in more than just an adjective. A. In action. In Act 2, Scene 3, Romeo says, I love Rich Capulet's daughter, and then says, we need you to marry us. He's talking to Friar Lawrence at this point. This shows how impulsive Romeo is in asking Friar Lawrence to marry them after just being in love with Rosaline. Also, Friar Lawrence is confused with Romeo in this conversation because he knows he was just in love with Rosaline. L for language or looks. In Act 1, Scene 5, Capulet says he carries himself like a dignified gentleman. While referring to Romeo, this means Romeo is well mannered and respectful. And to give some context, at this point in the play, Tybalt is angry because Romeo showed up to a party that he wasn't supposed to be. And Capulet tries to calm Tybalt down by explaining that Romeo is a good guy and he characterizes Romeo instead of us seeing him. And all of this comes together to help our students master the standard RL3, which is analyze how complex characters develop over the course of a text, interact with other characters, and advance the plot or develop the theme. Thank you.